Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be putting to the test the new Rose Inc Softlight Luminous Hydrating Concealer. I wasn't initially going to be reviewing this one just because it didn't really catch my eye. It's meant to be medium coverage, it's clean, so it has a lot of really good things, but I just didn't really think anybody was interested until the requests started coming in. So that is why I decided to purchase it, and today we're going to be putting it to the test throughout an entire 8-hour day. Now it retails for $30 US, and you can only find it in 18 different shades, which I did kind of find it hard to choose from. Depending on the brand, depending on what they consider to be like warm or olive or golden, it might look really good or it might look really yellow or it might be too deep. So I was really not sure which one to grab, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. I don't think I have the right one. Now that I'm looking at it, I swatched it, I read the description on it as far as the undertone. This is the shade LX060, which has a cool peach undertone. Now I grabbed it for the peach undertone because, as we know, peach helps conceal darkness really well. And so when a concealer has a peach undertone, I usually gravitate toward that just because I know that it's going to conceal the under eye area really well. Hopefully that's the case with this one. This is what it looks like right here. So I probably should have gone with something different, but we're just gonna wear it and see. The description for this concealer state that it is a buildable formula that's meant to brighten and blur imperfections. It also includes squalane, vitamin E, and fruit buttercup, which are all meant to be very nourishing, hydrating for the skin. It has a radiant finish and it is categorized under medium coverage. So we will see what that looks like under the eyes. So this is what the shade looks like now that it's dried down. As you can see, it does have a cool undertone, which let's just see what it looks like underneath the eyes. So I am gonna be using a corrector alongside this concealer, but I'm only gonna be using it under one eye. Or should I do two, since I know that this is medium coverage? I feel like I should do both, just because I know it's medium coverage and it's not going to give us full coverage without a corrector, that is for sure. And also the shade's off. So because of that, I'm gonna do color corrector underneath both eyes today. The one that I'm using is the one from Lancome in the shade Peach. So just starting off with that before moving on to the concealer. All right, now let me apply foundation really fast and I'll be right back. All right, foundation is on, ready to go. I decided to go with something a little bit more neutral for the face, which is this Luminous Silk Foundation from Armani Beauty. Although I was just looking it up, I wear the shade 575, which if you can clearly see it's more of a neutral shade for me, but it is described as a light to medium golden. But it's like, anyway, let's apply a little bit of this concealer. I'm gonna start off with very light, like a very light layer, and then work our way up if need be. We will see how much we need to build it up. I'm only gonna do 2 layers, if that. I feel like this corrector is definitely taking care of the under eye darkness, so we shouldn't need too much of the concealer. So let's start off with the right side. I'm taking my Deluxe Crease brush from Real Techniques, just blending it out. This is definitely a brightening shade, so I'm glad that I color corrected both sides because it is a brightening shade. It would have made the under eye area look really gray had I not neutralized it first. So that's another thing. If you do want that, the under eye brightened look, but you have dark circles, just make sure that you go in with a really good corrector to neutralize the darkness before applying your lighter shade of a concealer, and you'll get the same effect, but without the gray cast. All right, so there's one layer, nice and light. And although this does have a cool undertone, it doesn't look too off underneath the eyes. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more right there though. I feel like I may need a little bit extra right there. The thing that I'm hoping for with this concealer is that it stays in place, that it's hydrating and that it stays in place, because a lot of concealers that I've tried over the years that are hydrating usually end up moving around, which is why I tend to gravitate toward more of like matte finish concealers, but those can look excessively dry under the eyes. So let's hope we've got ourselves a winner here. So far, so good. It's providing really nice coverage, but of course we have the help of the corrector underneath, which is fine. I use correctors pretty much all the time anyway, so. All right, one side done, let's take care of the left side. So again, just starting off small and then adding a little bit more if we need it. All right, now let's add a tiny bit more right here. All right, concealer is on. Now I'm gonna take my foundation brush. I always like to go back and just blend in between concealer and foundation, because I do find that sometimes there's a very obvious noticeable line like right there. You see that? You can see where my concealer ends and where my foundation begins. This usually takes care of that issue. All right, now let's set this in place. Since it has a radiant finish, it's gonna need to be set. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of my Pat McGrath Labs. You guys already know, it's been like my one and only lately. This is the Blurring Under Eye Powder in the shade Medium. Just grabbing some of that with my Soft Blend number 60 brush from Sigma Beauty and setting this guy. So this does feel like a very creamy, hydrating formula underneath the eyes. I can definitely feel the hydration. I just hope it doesn't move throughout the day because it does look quite nice, although it's not full coverage. It's not meant to be, right? So that's okay. We got a lot of coverage though through the help of the corrector, which is great. Now let's just see how it wears throughout the day. I hope it stays in place, but we shall see that. All right, now that everything is set, let me zoom you guys in. All right, so here it is. Like I said, not full coverage, definitely not full coverage, even though we do have the corrector underneath, but it looks good. It looks good as of right now. All right, let me finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's continue on with the day. I did apply a little bit of brightening powder right here, like right underneath the under eye area, just simply because I felt like it looked a little odd. The under eye area was very bright, and of course the area right underneath the concealer was not. So I needed to kind of level that out. Not getting full coverage, but it looks really good. It looks really good up close. Now that I've balanced out the brightness, it looks really good. I like it. So far, even though it's not full coverage, I like what it looks like underneath the eyes. What time is it? It is 11:33 in the morning. You guys know the drill. I'll wear this all day long and I'll be coming back halfway through the day to show you close-ups underneath natural lighting. Hopefully it's still looking like this because I like it. I like it, but we'll see. I'll see you back here in a few hours for my midday check-in. All right, I'm back. Midday check-in. It is 4:13. So I've had this on for, I want to say like 4.5 hours, I think, something like that. Anyway, this is what it looks like. I feel like now that I'm in natural lighting, you can really see the brightening of this concealer, but it might look a little bit dry. Could absolutely be because I set it with a powder. However, it was really radiant, and so I know that if I hadn't set it, it would have settled into my fine lines. Didn't want that, but it's staying put for the most part. It's not, or not for the most part, it's staying put. It's still concealing pretty well, although it's not full coverage. It's concealing well, looks a little tiny bit dry, but other than that, we are good. I'll continue to wear it for another 4 hours and we'll see what it looks like at the end of the day. Halfway through the day though, I'm still really pleased with it, so we'll see. I'll see you back here in a few more hours for my final check-in. All right, I am back for my final check-in of the day. It is 8:08. So I've had this on all day, solid 8 hours. Now, before I get into what I think about this concealer, I'm going to zoom you guys in one last time so that you can get a better look underneath the eye area after 8 hours of wear. All right, so here it is. This is what I've got going on now that it is the end of the day. Looks a little dry, like I said during my midday check-in, but it stayed in place. So am I really mad about it looking a little dry? No, because it actually stayed in place. So that is an 8-hour day underneath the eyes with this concealer. Do I hate it? Absolutely not. It does not look excessively dry. It does look a little bit dry, but it doesn't look excessively dry, at least not in my opinion. And it does provide a really decent amount of coverage the entire day. However, keep in mind that you will have to pair this with a color corrector if you're trying to conceal dark circles. If you have anything under the eyes like I do, like if you have the same amount of darkness as me or more, then and you're looking for full coverage, I would say not this one. But if you're not looking for full coverage, if you don't mind like a medium to high medium coverage and you plan on using this with a color corrector that really nicely neutralizes your under eye darkness before you go in with concealers, then this one is definitely worth looking at. The ingredients are great. It is supposed to be a hydrating concealer, so it slightly disappoints me that it looks so dry, after 8 hours, because it's supposed to have more hydrating properties, but perhaps it's just the setting powder that I paired this with for today. I am going to try it a couple of different ways with a couple of different setting powders, and see if I can get this to look really nice and smooth and not as dry throughout the day. But wearing it the way that I did today, not disappointed. I'm actually pretty happy with the way that it wore, right? It gave us coverage. It stayed pretty consistent as far as the coverage. It stayed there all day long. It didn't wear off like the Neutrogena one. By the end of the day with the Neutrogena concealer, I was like, where's the coverage? Where's the concealer? It's all absolutely gone. But this one did not do that. So that is why I'm okay with it. It's a nice option if you're looking for medium to like a high medium coverage concealer, especially if you're not dealing with darkness underneath the eyes. If you just want to brighten up the under eye area a little bit, this one, it's worth looking at for sure, especially if you're interested. I know it's a new brand. The concealer is not bad. It's not bad at all. So there you have it. That completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos, future reviews, and also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.